Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you all are aware that this is the second video lesson of chapter 1, the portrait of a lady, written by Khushwant Singh. So before moving ahead, let us discuss what we have read as of now in this lesson. So as we have seen that this lesson is about the author's grandmother. In this lesson, Khushwant Singh tells us about her grandmother. So in the beginning we have seen that he tells that his grandmother was looking same as she was looking 20 years ago. He found no change in the appearance of her in the appearance of his grandmother. So he did not find any change in her appearance. So this also tells us, as we all are aware, once a person grows old, so he or she remains same for a few next years. So in the same way, he is saying that he was he could find no change in her grandmother's appearance. Further, he shares us that people said once her grandmother used to be pretty, but according to Khushwant Singh, her mother was she had never been pretty. No one could believe her. No one, Khushwant Singh couldn't believe that she was pretty. Further, he says that even it could not be believed that she had a husband and children, because she was very old, so it was very hard to believe for the author. We have also came across some phrases which are very important. You must write down the meanings of all these phrases in your notebook. Like, the thought was almost revolting, which means it was very hard for author to believe. Later, he told about her appearance, how she was having crisscross of wrinkles. So she was having wrinkled face, a pattern of intersecting straight lines, as it can be seen on the face of any old person. So she was having that crisscross wrinkles. Later, Khushwant Singh also tells us that she used to tells them fictitious story, and the game which she used to play in her childhood, she used to tell about the games to Khushwant Singh, which seemed like fictitious stories, okay, of a moral teaching, having some moral values, which could not be believed. Now, open your book at page number 4. We are going to start from the last paragraph of page number 3. She had always been short and fat and slightly bent. So further, Khushwant Singh tells us that his grandmother was always been short and fat. She was short and fat, and she was slightly bent. Her face was a crisscross of wrinkles, running from everywhere to everywhere. So wrinkles could be seen on all around her face. Now we were certain she had always been as we had known her. So further, the author says that as he saw his mother, his grandmother, not mother, she was very old. Since last 20 years, she was looking at the same age. So that is why he said that she was at the same age since last 20 years, old, so terribly old that she could not have grown older, and stayed at the same age for 20 years. So she was terribly old, and she was so old that she could not be older than that. And she was at the same age for 20 years. She could never have been pretty, but she was always beautiful. So she could never have been pretty. So here the author says, by appearance, his mother was not pretty, but by heart she was always beautiful. She hobbled about the house in spotless white, with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stoop, and the other telling the beads of her rosary. She hobbled about. She was, roaming about the house in spotless white, with one hand resting on her waist. So she was resting one hand on her waist, and she used to hobbled about in the house to balance stoop. Stoop means bend her body. She was balancing her bent body, and the other telling the beads of while she was telling the beads of rosary. Here rosary means a string of beads for keeping count of number of counts of a religious prayer, that is mala japna. You might be aware of it. So she used to beads of a rosary. She used to tell the beads of a rosary, and she used to hobble around the house, having one hand on her waist to support her body. As she grew old, so that is why she was walking this way. Her silver locks were scattered untidily over her pale puckered face. Puckered means a face contact into wrinkles. So her silver locks means here hair. Her hair was scattered untidily over her pale puckered face. So her on her wrinkled face, her hair was untidily scattered, and her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer. So her lips always moved in inaudible prayer. She used to murmur inaudible prayer. Yes, she was beautiful. She was like the winter landscape in the mountain, an expanse of pure white serenity. It's serenity. So according to the author, his grandmother's lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer, the prayer which cannot be heard. She used to murmur a prayer. Yes, she was beautiful. Further, the author says that yes, his mother was beautiful. So beautiful by heart. Here, the poet does not talk about physical appearance. He talks about her. So she was very kind, very good by heart. So this is what the author Khushwant Singh wants to say with this phrase. Okay. Her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer. Yes, she was beautiful. She was like the winter landscape in the mountains. So here Khushwant Singh has compared her mother to landscape in the mountains. The winter landscape in the mountains. As winter landscape in the mountains looks beautiful, so in the large expansion, in the same way here he is comparing. He has used here simile. The literary device simile has been used for making comparison. Okay, so she was beautiful. She was like the winter landscape in the mountain, an expanse of the pure white serenity. So this means, this phrase means, that we write it down here. An expanse of pure white serenity. An expanse of pure white serenity. This phrase refers to the calm, relaxed, and peaceful character of anyone. And peaceful character of author's mother. Here it has been used for author's mother. So according to author, her mother was calm, relaxed, and she was having a peaceful character. My grandmother and I were good friends. So the author Khushwant Singh and his grandmother, they were good friends. My parents left me with her when they went to live in the city, and we were constantly together. So when author's parents, they went to live in the city, they left him, and since then they were living together. She used to make me in the morning and she used to wake me up in the morning and get me ready for school. So author's mother, she used to get him ready in the morning. She used to get him up and she used to get him ready for the school. She said her morning prayer in a monotonous sing-song while she bathed and dressed me, in the hope that I would listen and get to know it by heart. She said her morning prayer in a monotonous. Monotonous means dull and boring. Monotonous means dull and boring. Monotonous means dull and boring. So she said her morning prayer in monotonous sing-song. She used to say her morning prayer in dull and boring way. It is for the author. For author it was dull and boring. The way she was saying her morning prayer, for author it was dull and boring. And while she used to bathe and dress him up, in the hope that the author would listen and get to know it by heart. So in the hope, she was reciting the prayer in monotonous way, that the author would listen and get to know by heart. The author would learn it by heart. I listened because I loved her voice. Further, he says that he used to listen because he used to love her voice but never bothered to learn it. But the author never bothered to learn her voice. Then she would fetch my wooden slate, which she had already washed and plastered with yellow chalk, and a tiny earthen ink pot and a red pen, tie them all in a bundle and hand it to me. So then she would fetch the narrator's wooden slate. So you must have, I don't know, I'm not sure whether you have seen the slate or not, but even during my childhood when I was studying in primary school, so I was having a slate on which we were writing when during our childhood, when any man of my age, you can ask your father, he must be knowing about slate. So we used to have a slate which was used in the school for writing anything. It was plastered and it was used for writing. Then she would fetch my wooden slate, which she had already washed and plastered with yellow chalk. So she would fetch my wooden slate, which she had already washed and plastered with yellow chalk, a tiny earthen ink pot and a red pen, tie them all in a bundle and hand it to me. So this way she was tying and she was handing him over. After a breakfast of a thick slate chapati with a little butter and sugar spread on it, we went to school. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. She used to give the author stale chapatis, chapatis which are made in the night and are kept, which was not fresh, simply, okay, which was not fresh, stale. It is called in Hindi basi. Okay, so she used to give him stale chapatis with little butter and sugar spread on it. We went to school. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. So when she used to escort the author, as she accompanied author to go to the school, she was also going to school with the author. Then she was having a lot of chapatis for village dog, which she used to feed the dogs. My grandmother always went to school with me because the school was attached to the temple. Further, he says that his grandmother always went to school with him because the school was attached to the temple. As the school was attached to the temple, so that is why the author's mother, she also went to school with him. The priest taught us the alphabet and the morning prayer. The priest used to teach them the alphabet and the morning prayer while the children sat in rows on either side of veranda singing the alphabet or the scriptures. Scriptures means religious books. So the school was attached to the temple. The priest taught the alphabet and the morning prayer while the children sat in a rows on either side of the veranda, and they used to sing the alphabet or the prayer in a chorus. My mother sat inside reading the scriptures, and the author's mother used to sit inside and she used to read scriptures. When we had both finished, when the writer and when the author and author's mother, they had both finished, we would walk back together. Then they would go back together. This time the village dogs would meet us at the temple door. This time they could see the village dogs this time the village dogs would meet us at the temple door. They followed us to our home, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis we threw to them. So they followed us. Those dogs used to follow them home, growling and fighting for the chapatis, which his mother used to throw them. Author's mother used to throw the chapatis for the dogs, and they used to growl and fight for the same. When the parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. That was a turning point in our friendship. So when the author's parents, they settled well in the city, then they sent for us. Then they called the narrator. It means now narrator and the narrator's grandmothers, now they also shifted to city, and now it was the turning point in our friendship. Now when they shifted to city, when they were sent for, when author's parents sent for them, then this was the turning point in the author and his grandmother's friendship. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me. Although in the city they shared the same room, but as in the village, author's mother used to accompany him to his school, but here in the city she could not do it. My grandmother no longer came to school with me. I used to go to an English school in a motor bus. So here the author used to go to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the streets, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of our city house. So there were no dogs in the streets, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard. Now when she shifted to city, there were no dogs. Earlier in the village, she used to throw chapatis for the village dog, but when she shifted to city, there were no dogs. So that is why here she used to feed the sparrows. Okay, so here she used to feed the sparrows in the courtyard of our city house. As the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. So as the time passed, the years rolled by, the author and author's grandmother, they rarely saw each other. For some time, she continued to wake me up and get me ready for school. When I came back, she would ask me what the teacher taught me. So when authors started going to an English medium school, they rarely talked together. When author would come back from school, then author's grandmother, she would ask what he had learned in the school. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning. So the narrator, the author, Khushwant Singh, used to tell her what he used to learn in an English school. So he used to tell that tell her the English words and the little things of Western science and learning. The law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being round, etc. This made her unhappy. So when the author told her that he was taught English words and Western science and learning like the law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being round, so it made her grandmother unhappy. She could not help him with his lessons. She did not believe in the things they taught at English school. So the author's grandmother, she did not believe what was taught in the English school. She did not believe the things they taught in the English school and was distressed. But there was no teaching about God and the scriptures. So yes, she was very much unhappy with the teaching of English school because they were not teaching about God and the scripture. So that is why she was in distress. She was not happy with the teaching of an English school, because when the author used to go to a village school, he was taught about God and scripture. So that is why when she was there, so the author was not taught these things. That is why she was annoyed. She was not very happy with the teachings of English school. One day I announced that we were being given music lessons. So one day author told him that author was given music lessons. She was very disturbed at this. She was very disturbed. To her, music had lived associations. For her, music had lived associations. Lived associations means indecent or obscene. Let me rub it and write down the meanings of these words. Left associations indecent or obscene. Indecent or obscene. Next word is harlots. Harlots. Harlots means prostitute. Harlots means prostitutes. Just plural, prostitutes. Gentle folk means people of noble birth. Gentle folk means people of when the author told her that she was taught music lessons, then she was very disturbed, because according to her, teaching music, the music was for indecent, obscene people. It was a monopoly of harlots. It was made only for prostitutes and beggars. Okay, the music was for only prostitutes and beggars, and not meant for gentlefolk. Gentlefolk means people of noble birth. It was not for gentle people. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. So the grandmother said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. She rarely talked to me after that. After that, grandmother of the author, she did not talk to him. She rarely talked to him. So it's all about for this video lesson. In my next video lesson, I will explain a few more paragraphs of this lesson. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.